Can everyone hear? Who do we have before the court? This is a signing and arraignment by means of an audio video Zoom. We have Lieutenant Hull, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And this is the matter of Ali Al-Shamari, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Also before the court is Mr. Al-Shamari, and I believe counsel are present too. Counsel, Mr. Bazi and Mr. Hamoud, I believe. I'm trying to read Hamadi. All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Hamadi, I'm trying to read. I started to say your names are printed beneath your pictures, but it's across the room and it's have a hard time hearing. Actually, me seeing it and reading it. And Mr. Bazi?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Hassan Bazi, P7844 on behalf of Mr. Al-Shamari, who is present via Zoom. Mr. Al-Shamari, state your name for the record, please.
Ali Al-Shamari. All right, we'll begin by the signing. We have Lieutenant Hull. The matter before the court, the signing of a felony complaint and possible arraignment on an 8-count felony complaint alleging 2 counts of first-degree arson, 2 counts of assault with intent to murder, 2 counts of unlawful imprisonment, and 2 counts of assault with intent to great bodily harm less than murder or by strangulation. Lieutenant, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the facts and statements contained in this complaint are true to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief, and testimony given to the court will be the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, would you please advise the court of the circumstances?
Yes, Your Honor. On April 7th, 2025, at approximately 23:29 hours, 11:29 p.m., officers from the Garden City Police Department were dispatched to the Acura Care building located at 6561 Middle Belt Road in the city of Garden City, County of Wayne, and state of Michigan for a building fire. Upon their arrival, Officer Kalidas observed that the building was fully engulfed in flames. He approached the building and moments later observed a female, later identified as Kawang Soon, run out of the front door of the building. There was flames protruding from the front window and through the doorway with heavy smoke present. She advised that there was one more person trapped inside. Officer Kalidas notified the Garden City Fire Department, who was arriving on scene, that there was another female trapped inside. They were able to enter the building and extract the other victim, later identified as Wei-Ying Haiyong. Garden City Fire Department was able to extinguish the fire with the assistance of several local area fire departments. At that time, they began treating the victim. Both victims were transported to a local area hospital where they're in the intensive care burn unit. Officer Kalidas went to the hospital and spoke with Wei Lin, who does not speak English and only speaks Chinese. He was able to gather the assistance of a medical assistant at the hospital who was able to translate for him. The translation was relayed to him, and she stated that before closing at around 10 p.m., a light-skinned white male arrived intoxicated to the business in a small white vehicle. During the massage that was agreed upon, the suspect began asking them for an unreasonable request, which they denied. The suspect became irate and began to break things within the business and took both Wei Ling's phone and Wei-Ying Soon's phone. They were then barricaded in a laundry room within the business. And then that's when the fire broke out. I responded to the scene and received information that the suspect was a mixed race white male, possibly white, with a scar on his face. We began conducting our investigation. We located camera systems inside the business. One was a DVR system, and the other was a what was believed to be a web-based system. It was later determined that it just contained SD cards that contained the data. I began reviewing those videos. Upon reviewing those videos, a male that appeared to be Arabic entered the business, consistent with the times that the victim gave. During the course of the massage, you can hear on the audio a female stating no. That was accompanied by loud banging and a male's voice that was muffled. There are approximately 22 to 38 hours on the camera system. The male exits the room and begins checking other rooms for the other female, Koyang. He closes the door, locking Koyang in the northeast room. The male then forces both females into a laundry room and demands their phones. He states, "Give me your fucking phone or you will die right the fuck now," and continues demanding their phones. He continues with his threats by saying, "I will take your fucking life right now. I will literally take your life." He then begins asking for who the boss is of the business, which the females tell them Jerry. He does not like that answer. He then states, "Before I burn this bitch down, there's a lot of cameras in here. Who's your boss?" He then points and starts waving at the cameras. The male points at the hallway cameras and says, I can see you. I know they're watching me. I will kill everyone in this bitch." He then tells them to lock the door in the room that they're in. And he continues to move room to room. At approximately 22:46 hours, the cameras are disabled while while the suspect at that point is at the front desk pulling on wires and items at the front desk where the DVR camera was located. During the video, we also hear him demanding that he wants his $50 back. He takes some money that is on the counter and places it in his pocket. Sergeant Daniels was able to conduct a flock LPR search for vehicles matching the suspect's description, which was a small white vehicle. A white Chevy Malibu with the Michigan license plate of Edward King Frank 0257 was captured on westbound or on Ford Road cameras just west of Inkster. 2 minutes later, the same vehicle is traveling northbound on Middlebelt, just north of Ford Road. And then later that night, the vehicle was captured again westbound on Ford at Inkster. All those times align with the suspect's arrival at the massage parlor and the subsequent report of the fire to the police department. Secretary of State inquiry revealed that on 1/27/2025, a subject by the name of Ali Al-Shamari, a white male, date of birth of 7/1/90, was issued a citation by the Southfield Police Department for impeding traffic while operating the white 2013 Chevy Malibu, which was previously stated. A comparison of Al-Shamari's Michigan's driver's license photo confirmed that his physical appearance matched the suspect's description. Notably, the photo depicts a distinct scar on his right cheek, consistent with the description provided by the victim. Records showed that he was registered to 2211 North Highland Street in the city of Dearborn. The vehicle was registered to an Ahmad Al-Shamari. Vigilant LPR data showed that the vehicle had been most recently parked in front of that address on 3/28/2025. We conducted surveillance of that location and located the vehicle parked in front of 2211 North Highland in the city of Dearborn. A search warrant request was completed and approved by the 21st District Court Judge Richard Hammer. A search warrant was executed at approximately 2200 hours by Garden City Police officers with the assistance of Michigan State Police and Dearborn PD. Upon completing that search warrant, the suspect, Ali Al-Shamari, was located inside of the business, or I'm sorry, inside of the garage of the location where he was taken into custody. $2,600 and $2,625.75 in assorted currency was recovered from his jacket pocket, along with a cell phone and an Under Armour lanyard, which was noticed on the surveillance cameras. I also conducted a Michigan State Police facial recognition search of a still photo from the surveillance video, which gave the investigative leads of Ali al-Shamari. I conducted an in custody interview of Mr. al-Shamari. He was read his Miranda rights. He agreed to speak with me after understanding them. He did make admissions to being at the at the business. However, he did deny starting any fires or making any of the comments that were observed on the surveillance system. The interview was concluded, and that concludes my testimony.
All right. The court does find sufficient probable cause. We will now proceed to the arraignment. Before I do that, counsel, do you wish? I think you did place your appearances on the record. Anything you wish to state to the court before I read the charges to Mr. al-Shamari?
Well, Your Honor, I would like to place my appearance on the record.
Oh.
That's okay.
I addressed you. I didn't know if you placed your appearances on the record or not. If not, go right ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, my wonderful partner did not give me the opportunity, but it's Hassan Hamadi, P77565, on behalf of Ali al-Shamari. Would you like us to allocute on his behalf for purposes of bond?
Let me address Mr. al-Shamari first for the arraignment, and then we get to the bond phase.
Well, Your Honor, for purposes of the arraignment, we do waive the formal reading and stand mute.
I understand that the court will nonetheless read the charges to the defendant. You are Mr. Ali al-Shamari, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. al-Shamari, before the court, you may have heard what your attorneys and the detective has told the court. Nonetheless, I am going to read this to you. You are now before the court for arraignment on a certain felony warrant and complaint alleging that on or about April 7th, 2025, at or about the location of 6561 Middle Belt in the city of Garden City or thereabout, you committed the following offenses. Count 1 and 2 allege arson in the first degree. Specifically, each of these accounts allege that you did willfully or maliciously burn, damage, or destroy by fire or by explosive a building, structure, or other real property or its contents. And the explosion resulted in physical injury to two separate individuals. Count 1 alleges that the injury occurred to one Wenli Wang, and count 2 alleges that the injury did occur to one Kaylee Swan. As I said, this is known as arson in the first degree, and as such is punishable by up to life or any term of imprisonment. Do you understand those charges and those possible penalties?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Counts 3 and 4 allege assault with the intent to murder. More specifically, that you did make an assault upon two separate individuals, one Wenli Wang on count 3, and count 4 alleges that you made the assault on one Kaylee Swan. Each of these are known as assault with intent to commit murder, and each punishable by up to life imprisonment or any term of years. Do you understand those charges and those possible penalties?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counts 5 and 6 allege unlawful imprisonment, more specifically that you did knowingly or did knowingly restrain two individuals, one Wenli Swan in count 5 and one Kaylee Sun in count 6, to facilitate the commission of an assault with the intent to murder or the intent to do great bodily harm. Each of these are felonies punishable by up to 15 years in prison and or a $20,000 fine. Do you understand those charges and those possible penalties?
Yes, Your Honor.
And count 7 and 8 allege assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder or by strangulation. More specifically, that you did make an assault upon one Wenli Hang in count 7 and count 8, one Kaylee Swan with the intent to do great bodily harm less than the crime of murder. Each of these are felonies punishable by up to 10 years in prison and or a $5,000 fine. Do you understand those charges and those possible penalties?
Yes, Your Honor.
Due to the fact that these charges are felonies, I do want to advise you that you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say orally or in writing can and will be used against you in court. You do have the right to have a lawyer present during any questioning that you do consent to. And if you do not have the money to hire a lawyer, the court will appoint one for you. You understand that as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you have attorneys representing you today, so I presume you are not requesting a court-appointed attorney. But if anything should change, please advise the court. Also, because these charges are felonies, you are entitled to what's known as a preliminary examination. which is a court hearing when the prosecuting attorney must establish probable cause to believe that each of these crimes are committed and probable cause to believe that you committed these crimes. You are entitled to that within 21 days of today's date. You're also entitled to what's known as a probable cause conference, which is a meeting with you and your attorneys with the prosecutor, and you are entitled to that within 14 days of today's date. You understand that as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
We'll give you those dates right now.
Be Monday, April 21st at 8:45. The exam to be April 28th at 10.
All right, your two dates are for the probable cause conference, Monday, April 21st, 8:45 a.m. That may be done by means of an audio video Zoom. If necessary, the preliminary examination is scheduled for April 28th, 10 a.m. here at the 21st District Court in Garden City. Now I have to address bond and conditions for release. Counsel, who wishes to address the court first?
Your Honor, we can collectively do this, but
Yes.
regardless, in front of Your Honor today is Mr. Ali Shamiri, who's 35 years of age. I will tell this court, he has no criminal history, based on, our due diligence, unless I'm mistaken. However, he is gainfully employed, is from the city of Dearborn, has family ties here, and, you know, even though the offense, you know, is quite frankly seems severe, I will tell you that based on his history, this tells me that at a 35-year-old age, he's never had any assaultive crimes. Again, these are just allegations. I would ask for a reasonable cash bond, and a tether, if the court, we know that the concern is public safety, obviously based on the charges, but a tether and, Your Honor, that's pretty much what I have.
Anything further, counsel?
No, Your Honor, I'll just wait until some comments after you do the bond.
All right, Mr. Al-Shamari, I may ask you a number of questions for purposes of setting bond. I mean, you're 35 years old. You're employed, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I presume you're single?
Yes, Your Honor.
No dependents you are supporting?
I'm supporting my family, my mother and my brothers.
And where are you employed?
I'm employed at my brother's oil change.
Now, I see from the criminal history that evidently there was an impaired driving in Dearborn back in 2015 and a misdemeanor possession of controlled substances in Dearborn in 2018.
Yes,
Have you
Your
had
Honor.
any other trouble with the law, any arrests or convictions?
No, Your Honor.
Lieutenant, do you have anything you wish to say on behalf of the police department?
Yes, Your Honor. We would ask for a very high cash bond in this matter. We are concerned about the danger of the community. Not only did he injure two individuals, but it could have been much worse. First responders could have been injured. If this building isn't reported by a passerby, the damage to the property could have been much worse and possibly spread to other dwellings and businesses in the area.
All right, counsel, anything further? The court is going to require a cash bond here. Obviously, the court's very concerned with the underlying offenses, the violence, and maybe the irrationality behind it, which is a factor that the court is going to look at for purposes of public safety. What I'm going to do is require bond in the amount of $500,000 cash, no 10%. And should he be able to post bond, that he would be released only on a GPS tether with the restrictions that he have no contact with any complaining witnesses and no presence at or about the scene of this incident. Under both the Constitution and court rule, the court does have to set some type of a cash bond. It does have to be reasonable. This is relatively high, but I think it's well within reason considering the facts and the circumstances that have been presented. And the court notes that there is substantial evidence. The court, when it's setting bond, should consider the weight of the evidence. And to considering the circumstances, the court feels that there is substantial record to support that bond. The bond would be the amount of $500,000 cash, no 10%. And should he be released, the requirement of a tether.
Your Honor, may I really quick? I know you said no 10%.
That is correct.
I'm asking if you can do a 10% provision. My partner stated, 35 years old, even though he's got two minor misdemeanor cases, he's got no KPS history. One of the factors that you have to determine when you ask for a bond is flight risk. He's got strong community ties here. He takes care of his mom. He lives with his mom and his brother at his house. I'm asking for a 10% provision. He's retained counsel, and he's going to show up to court, Your Honor.
I understand that in setting the bond, the court is guided by the court rule, and the court is guided by the strength of the evidence. And the court sets bond where the guilt is evidence or the presumption great in the display of evidence that's been submitted to the court does meet that requirement. And also, the court will note the apparent irrationality, and that is a factor as well. And sometimes people do unreasonable things given the penalty, and the court factors that in as well. I understand the reason of your argument, but I can't overlook the nature of this offense. So the court will set bond as set, 500,000 cash. Of course, we have the probable cause conference of the examination, and the court may adjust that if it has more evidence, and if necessary, we can get a pretrial services report that would guide the court in modifying bond, but based upon what the court's heard at this point and what I've recited already, the court feels that this is reasonable under the circumstances that we have now. All right.
Fair enough, Your
Thank you,
Honor. Can you order a DSU report, Your Honor, just so we can figure it out by the time?
I will start that ball rolling. The court's always welcome to more information and more review, but I will direct that we get is it DSU or pretrial services? They changed the name. Pretrial service or DSU?
Pretrial services, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're
Thank
welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You want